We'll open the meeting of the Village of North Bennington Board of Trustees for Tuesday, July 7, 2015. First item on the agenda is to review and approve minutes of June 9 and its continuation of June 15 and the June 30 continuation.
Well, I had a couple corrections on the ones I took. And Bill helped out a lot on this too.
That was the intersection one?
The intersection, the 15. Wanted to note that Norm was present as well as the trustees.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and then the last paragraph seems to be a bit strange. So anyway, I think crossing out lower the in that first line of the last paragraph will make it read more clearly.
Seek to grind down the sharp corners.
Seek cause to grind down the sharp corners and lower in places the current granite slab.
Okay.
Right.
Any others?
Did we approve all these together?
Yeah, I think so. It was
Yeah.
one
Well,
meeting.
then I'll move that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for all three of these continued meetings. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I don't have a warrant. Do you have the warrant? It's on there.
Must be one of the shortest ones we've ever had.
Isn't that great to have? Yeah.
I guess only because
Well, this just reflects.
we did the
Right, we did everything else last
bills,
month,
you
but.
know.
It's only 6 days, right? 6 or 7 days.
Any questions?
No, I move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and second to approve the Village of North Bennington warrant for July 7. All those in favor?
Aye.
We got the payroll
Pay-
warrant.
And the payroll warrant. Nothing unusual.
I'll move we approve the payroll warrant for $48.35.91.
You second it?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item is citizen comments. We have a citizen. It's just exciting when that happens. What can we help you with?
I actually came to volunteer. I spoke with David up in the village center a couple of weeks ago, and he told me that you still need auditors for the village. And I think I might be able to help.
And I'm sorry, I don't know you.
What's
I
that?
don't know who you are.
Candy Cuthbert.
She lives right on the corner of West and Main Street.
We'll probably be there at his house.
Well, how do we leave that with the, we needed one.
We need,
We need some volunteers.
Yes.
And we welcome anybody who's willing to.
we could have up to 3.
Up to 3, but are we okay to have 1? I mean, so far.
I think one's
we've
a
got-
great place to start.
That'd be great. First of all, do you understand what it involves is just going over with the treasurer and the clerk, pretty much once a year, or as often as you really want to be engaged in what's happening, what the year-end books are like, and making sure that it looks like everything is,
Yeah, why don't you leave your contact information with Lori?
Sure.
So, and then Mary will be getting a hold of her to give her some instructions on.
Yes, Mary said she'd be glad to work along with whomever.
Okay.
do you know Mary Rogers?
Do I know?
Have you ever met Mary Rogers, our new
Only-
treasurer?
Not personally.
Okay.
I've seen her at town meetings. but
Yep.
I haven't met her.
Well, it's like walking into the lion's den, but Can we,
Oh, come on.
can we nominate?
No, no.
No, it's not.
No, I'm sure that what they'll want to do is standard auditing procedures where you'll take a few records from one place and check that, make sure the backup is there, that the bill is there, that it's properly approved, and, and just, double check a few things. You're not expected to be an accountant and to go through and analyze all that, but just to make sure that there's, nobody is sneaking money under the table.
That we're using good practice, I think. There is a handbook, too, that the state provides. My only caution is that it's certainly includes more material than we've ever
It's geared,
asked
it's
our
geared
auditors
towards
to
larger
do. But it does have a
communities, I
lot
think.
of useful information in it as well.
Is that available through,
It's right online, I think.
Oh, okay.
for,
I would look under, oh, gee.
municipal audit, or,
Well, I was trying to, I think the
The league
Vermont
might
League
have
of
it.
Cities and Towns website.
I can drop you off. I have a bunch of their material, so I can drop you off at least to get you the website and the contact stuff for it.
Sure.
great. Well, I
Usually leave for work by 10, so.
I would nominate Candy Cuthbert for the position of auditor.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye. You've been elected.
That was easy.
And if you have two friends that you think might,
Yeah. And do they have to be North Bennington
Residents.
residents?
they
But-
do.
Thank you. We really appreciate that.
Thank you very much. I'll bring that down in the next couple of days.
Contact info.
Why don't you write it right on here?
Treasurer's report, I think we won't get one today. She's climbing a mountain somewhere. Highway facilities, Norm?
This month, you've seen we cleaned out our drains. We got a couple different problems. One is on Lower Mechanic Street, the pipe that goes in front of, I believe, I know our main name is Conley, but it runs in front of that property across Paquins and then runs down the river. That pipe, it's crushed. There's actually a hole in Paquins lawn. You see a little cone if you step on it, but you go right through the pipe.
That's not the pipe you just replaced?
No, we didn't do any replacing there, all we did was take that DI box and cut into it, and just build it big enough to go on good pipe on both sides, but it's, 20 feet up, it just caved in. So there is water flowing through that, but.
It's also eroding away Paquin's yard.
So, then we gotta decide, do we stay on the other side of the street and hook into in front of the house where they put all the Christmas decorations up?
Yeah.
Because there's a new.
There's a DI there, right.
And good plastic pipe to the river, brand new, where the other one's all old. So where we abandon that? Out in front of Sweet Road, again, we know that floods all the time, and they keep pumping it out. Well, all that gravel ended up plugging all those pipes in front of him. I mean, we spent half a day in a 100-yard stretch. We did up the whole village. We go through 30, where that one takes us that time.
Like last time, right?
What's that?
Last time, the same problem at that same.
Every
point.
year.
Yeah.
Last year wasn't so bad, 'cause the winter wasn't so bad than we had last winter, which was, and, just the dirt coming out of those roads and stuff. Other paved the appropriate space in, but it's just, mules driveway, all that crap comes out, and I mean, it's just bad down there. And it all gets trucked up now. The drains by his house aren't so bad because they actually go the other way, and traffic brings the dirt down. But all in front of that, they're just horrible. We got those claims, so they're not a problem, but, we should try to address that issue with the landowner.
Any recommendations on how to address that?
Put a drainage system up on his side that he has to maintain the box. You know, let the water collect in his box.
Have it go in a box first and then down.
You know, and then it goes underground and then comes through and stuff, you know, at their expense. And we've offered that to them once, you know, and they have no interest in that at all. They believe that the problem is created by
Yeah.
everybody else. So, that is what it is.
Back to Mechanic Street, do you, so are you saying that from the Connolly property, you need to put a new plastic pipe over to that DI that's on the Paquin property?
No, you know what, I probably almost abandon that whole thing, and I'll tell you why, because, then you go through from the pavements down, it goes underneath his newly, paved driveway, and then through a wall. You know, there's a lot of stuff there. I would probably try to stay on the other side of the
Just go
street.
from Connolly down
Go
North
to
Street?
a new system that, you know, at least the pipe that crosses the road that goes into the river, it's all new. You know, I would leave that one in existence from where our DI box is down, because we cambered that last year and it seemed to be okay.
So it would still
And
carry
was
water?
drained, you know,
Yeah.
so whatever water it collected, it would still go
Okay.
until it, you know, finally filled with dirt, and then that's the end of it. We could still, well, suck it out, you know, every year as we need to. But, so there's some things that need to be addressed. There's one more, I don't know why I can't think of it. Well, that needs to be done, but it's a short one, it's not a big deal. We did get these in front of where the railroad, when they abandoned them because they were right full of dirt, we got those cleaned out, so they'll actually work. Obviously, you see the parking lot's paved now, so that's gonna take a lot of dirt away from us, from our road. But it was a bad year. They were all right full of the bottom.
Well, because we had to use a lot of sand and
The
gravel.
same part of it is because we had to do for.
Yeah, and that, you know, I mean, it's just a double-edged sword. I mean, we have our residents that blow grass out on the street, and they don't think about all that crap ends up in those drains, you know? And it piles up after quite a bit of time. So, that's it. On Depot Street, we've got all the waters and sewers replaced that need to be replaced. We're still waiting on a date to pave it, but we have the fabric in place. It should be sometime in July, we'll see that happen. So it's hard to nail them down to a day, but it's coming closer. It will sometime this summer, you know, but we're trying to get it sooner than later. So there's that. Now we go back to the depot building, which is changing, you know, if we're gonna pave or not, or what. I mean, we gotta decide on what we wanna do. We wanna either move forward and meet with the railroad, or we don't, or we're just gonna let them tear it down. So,
No, I think it makes sense to meet with them, at least, and see what their expectations are for,
well, their expectations was $500 a year for rent, and then what the maintenance is, and anything that we do in the building can be taken off the rent. So let's just say, for round figures, it's $500 a year, and we pass the roof, and the roof costs us $500, well, then the first year rent's free. You know what I mean? So just cleaning the building, we're gonna have 10 years worth of rent. You know, because we can charge for all that, and everything.
and you're
we
sure
get
of all
rid
that, and we can get that all cleared up and
Yeah.
contractual in some sort of.
Yeah, now, maybe, you know, whatever's gained out of it, you know, we might have to, I don't know, you know what I mean, your pluses and minuses. I mean, it might be, you know, might be like disposal and what's gained washes each other, but the labor to clean the building can be charged for, you know, and they were pretty adamant about that, so.
Well,
The tax
set up a
plan.
meeting. I think best for you to first get some dates from them, and then I think whoever can show up kind of thing, from our standpoint.
We'll try to get it on a Monday.
Okay.
And,
Did they say that they weren't interested in selling it, though?
Yeah.
they did say that, yeah, almost point blank. I mean, the first conversation was they were, and now they're not.
Yeah.
I guess the big thing I don't know is how long they're willing to do that for. Because for us to, if we put in 10 years worth of rent and they decide in 2 years they want to tear it down.
Well, that's a question you have to ask them.
Sure.
I don't
Oh,
blame,
yeah.
I think once we get it, we'll probably be signing a 99-year lease. And then, we could probably break it whenever we felt like it, but yeah, that's a valid question. I mean,
Well, no, it wasn't really for you.
only they
That's
can
what-
answer
that's
that,
what I thought.
yeah. Yeah, that David guy's pretty decent guy to,
And from the looks of it, it seems like a building that's sturdy and savable.
well, talking to, some of the town residents, the village residents, and, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of interest in just seeing it there as I want to use landmarks, not really a great word, but you know what, it's aesthetically,
Historic building, yeah.
it's kind of aesthetically pleasing.
Well, if you think about it, if that were gone, your view from that road, it would open up a lot of not great sights. I mean, it's
Right.
much, I'd rather look at it in its current condition than look what's behind it.
I mean, I'd like to see a nice house built right there on the property and get on the tax rolls, but that's never gonna happen, you know what I mean? And,
But to preserve the building, I think would be a priority.
within a reasonable target.
The next issue will be what we decide as a village, as a board, and as a village to do with it. I mean, I'm sure you have ideas of what you'd like to do with it. There are other possible members of the community who have their own ideas.
Well, I'm sure the railroad would have some say in they may not want to see certain things in there.
Oh, sure.
Who knows? But again, that's kind of.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Those are
mean-
questions we have to ask them.
Right, I don't think they really care, you know what I mean, and, my gut feeling, just a meeting with them, you know what I mean, that, say you put something that, we'll use a restaurant per se, you know what I mean, that all fire codes and, you know what I mean, nobody would ever do that in there, so who knows, there's a list of possibilities. I would say that, if there was a group, though I would like to use it for storage for us, that's one of my main reasons to even go after this, but if there was a group that wanted to use it, if they were willing to put up the cabbage to fix it, well then, I guess, if everybody wins, then, we move on.
I think a lot of those ideas depend on whether or not there's a train ever coming through here and, how that might change what could be done there. If there's a train coming through daily.
Sure, but here's and I think we all agree on this, it's also, it's in a dumpster, there's no doubt, and if whatever happens, any economic development, an open air market, like a farmer's market, a couple days, on a weekend or whatever, but if the building's gone, it's gone. And, if it's still there, there is possibilities.
Yeah, set that up and let us know what you can do. What about the stone wall?
What about the stone wall? The stone wall, the retaining wall.
Yeah.
The retaining wall, we have met with an engineer, and we've entered into an agreement for the preliminary design, the preliminary investigation. Okay, and what that will be is tentatively next Monday we'll meet on the site with a core driller, and sometime next week we'll have to shut a lane down, or maybe even the whole road. I don't know. We're gonna meet with the core driller first, and they're gonna drill test holes and see what we can see. Our goal is for at least 2. We're hoping for 3 or 4. We may only get 1. And that's it. We do have a not to exceed price on this first part, which is good. I don't know if we could talk about the dollar figure, but it doesn't matter. It's a not to exceed. We have the grant. I got an email today with it, and we can start today with any work that we do. We can start crediting to be reimbursed for that.
And describe the grant.
The grant is a structures grant, and it's going to allow us to hopefully by the end of this calendar year or shortly into next year have a buildable set of plans if it falls in.
What's our match?
Our match is 20%.
10%.
10%?
10%.
Our match is 10, but that's, we gotta do something. It's falling in.
And with that 10%, can that be your,
Yeah, we can do some in-kind work there. Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be a little hard, like in-kind work, we did traffic control on our other projects. We can't do that on that project. There's just way too much traffic. Some of this we're gonna have to just take it in the chin, and hopefully we projected high enough out that we can solve this problem with what we got. And then hopefully we can get a plan that we can actually execute next year in a buildable plan. The buildable plan may be so far out of our realm, we gotta wait for a national disaster. And that's not really a great answer, but we don't know. Until we start drilling in the ground, we could go 5 feet and find ledge. And that would be
perfect?
well, it may or may not be. It depends on the plan that you
It gives
to
you
rebuild it.
one
But
way to approach it.
but here's the deal. Right now, we don't know what's in there. And
What MSK is proposing, first of all, they'll do the borings, we'll get an idea of what's there. And then they're gonna come up with feasible alternatives, not designs, just,
Ways of doing
ways it can be done for us to decide on, and they expect to have that all done by mid-August. And it's got a not-to-exceed cost of $7,000 for that part of the study. Now, if we have to do more borings to get it better, then it will exceed the 7,000, but we've got 40,000 in the grant for the engineering part of it. And what he's saying, if the proposal is something that would be what he would call an engineered solution, where you'd be working with somebody, an engineering group, he obviously then would step out of it. But it may be something that he has to engineer.
Some of these as you were saying, some of these technologies are their own
Yeah.
the company comes in, whether it's
Right,
those.
they got their whole set of engineers, and
And they do it.
Right, but they still need this data to make.
That's
that,
right. That's right.
So it's and we met with a whole host of different people to come up with different solutions for this. But the first thing that is, nobody knows. So what we're basically gonna do is gonna get a cutaway of the world on that realm. It could be, Pleasant Street with stumps. You know what I mean? If the road's all stumps, we've got a bigger issue than what we're thinking about. It's more than likely not. You go up into Main Street, especially where they put the new water box and everything, it's all ledge. You look in the river behind Haviland's Privilege, that whole thing is just rock. So maybe that was the reason they built the wall, because of the ledge, and got up to it and made it around. We don't know. So.
Okay. So Monday, you're gonna meet with the.
Proposed Monday, we're supposed to meet. They're gonna get back to us, try to get the guy on site so he can look at it, the core driller, and then say, okay, this is what I need. And, we're hoping the best case scenario is, that he can remain one lane open. That's what we're hoping for. Everybody seems to think that's pretty practical. But, it may be this lane now and, it may switch, but, so.
Anything else?
No, a little in the executive, but that's it.
Okay. DRB. Nothing's been really done or decided there. Fire department, nothing. Water board, nothing. New business, we do have we have to have this as a special meeting for the charter.
Special meeting would be next
We're
month, but
warning
we
it.
have to approve a warning
Okay.
okay.
for that. So the proposal is to have a special meeting at the beginning of August meeting, and you know, Lori, I'm gonna have to have one of those copies. I think. I thought I had packed mine, but. Anybody else might need one too?
I have enough for everybody.
Here it is.
Oops, another one.
So the special meeting would be on August 11th at 7. That would be at the beginning of our scheduled meeting time. And the warning, I did have one question about the warning, and you can see there, or we can decide whether to include that particular phrase or not, but shall the action taken at the meeting of the Village of North Bennington held on March 3rd, 2015, and any act or action of the municipal officers or agents pursuant thereto be readopted, ratified, and confirmed in spite of the fact that the warning of the meeting was not published in a newspaper of general circulation in the municipality at least 5 days before the meeting.
I think it should include that clause.
Okay.
Because if we did not properly warn that meeting, anything that did happen at that meeting could be, which the meeting being the vote,
Okay,
could also be brought into question, right?
okay, well then it would be the full statement that I just read.
Yep,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that, Laurie would go ahead and warn that special meeting. It would be for any voters in the Village of North Bennington, really. Basically, what we're asking voters to do is to reaffirm that the vote that we had in March to approve the changes in the charter still stands, even though, and acknowledge that it was not warned fully. It was quite warned pretty extensively, but it didn't include a warning in the newspaper, which it
Which the
should have.
statute says.
Statute says it should. So this would be warned, including that, and then if we, voters will vote at the special meeting on whether to adopt it at that point, and then it would go back to the legislature for approval.
And in the case that no voters show up, I assume that we are voters and we can...
We're voters, we should really be encouraged, I would encourage people to come. It should not be a long meeting, but there'll be, it'll be a regularly, not regular meeting, but a legal meeting.
Legal voting meeting.
Yeah. Yep.
So, somebody want to move to adopt this warning, to approve this warning?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So Laura, you will put this up and down and all over and like you always did. This time it has to be in the paper that no one reads. Is that it for that then, until next month?
That would be it.
Any other new business?
The park and ride parking lot grant is up again. This is a grant that's 100% covered, so there's no cost to the village. And there's there's the parking lot here that we could get paved and proper signage and everything, or we could look at the parking lot behind the firehouse. And these come up every year, so it isn't like if we can always do another one later on. But Norm and I will have to work over here just to see. The requirement is it has to have a minimum of 10 cars. And I think this parking lot is big enough for that, but Norm and I can get them.
Why wouldn't we take advantage of the possibility of getting an upgrade on the fire department's lot? I mean,
Well, I don't have a problem with that.
getting that paved would be worthwhile, wouldn't it? If it were.
Either one. I would say, if I had to pick one of the two and never get the other one ever paved, I would agree with the firehouse one should be paved.
And that we know is well over 10.
Oh, yeah. And you'd get a lot more in there if you had lines painted and parking lines and
Yeah.
everybody was. So what,
Yeah, and well, I'll work with Norm. It looks like a pretty easy grant to fill out. We just have to get, a little map of the area and get some estimates of what it's gonna cost. And it includes everything, the painting of the lines and the signage and whatever else we think, if it needs lighting and.
who funds these? Where's the money come from?
State money, so it's easy.
Easier.
You don't have to run through all these antics to get the money, and then.
Please do that. That's great. I'm sure they're pretty competitive in terms of,
It's very
lot of
competitive,
people are
but it
looking for
comes up
money.
every year, so if you don't get it one year, they encourage you to reapply. But since we haven't gotten any of these, I think we have a good chance at it.
that'd be a big upgrade for that area back there. And it really could be used as a park and ride,
Yeah,
people,
well, plus we'll get signage that'll make it more useful for a parking lot, however it gets used. With good signage and everything to let people know it's there, because I'm sure a lot of visitors don't have a clue there's a parking lot back there.
and there aren't enough elsewhere. Anything else on the new? I have one new. Pete Dominy, who's a fellow who lived in town here for a year and a half at least, has been working with the BCRC as an intern much of that time, and one of his efforts, he's been doing a lot of things, mapping parking spaces and things like that for downtown Bennington and stuff, but because he lives in the village, he was interested in seeing about getting a bike rack or two in the village that can be used by students coming down from the college or from people biking from Bennington to here. And he was able to acquire one at no cost through his efforts. And it's one of these two-loop racks that are welded together, but they need to be set in concrete, and which makes them stationary. And so we've kind of been bouncing around the ideas of where something like that could go. And I'm just putting that. The bike rack is in hand. The question is, where would we want it? Where would be a good place to put it? Actually, Bill has agreed to be willing to consider one at Pangea. The new owners of Powers has expressed interest. The Left Bank has expressed interest, and possibly the Kevin's Marigold's realm there. One thought was that's going to be a redo sidewalk project, right, in front of Marigold's once this, at some point.
Yeah.
But installing a bike rack permanently into that sidewalk doesn't make a lot of sense. Obviously, it would be better to, maybe to do it, if it were going to be in that area of the village, maybe to do it off the corner of Kevin's on the north side,
What about in the park?
or in the park.
Yeah.
I mean, we can,
The question is, what are people going to use it for? And are they using it because they're going to a business, or are they just using it because they're coming to North Bennington? And will they be, I think that's,
that would be very central, though.
Yeah.
it is very
For
central.
the, for the
There's
left
already
bank,
one.
for the restaurants, for the library.
Because there's already one down by the library, or there used to be. Is there still a bike rack in front of the library? There used to be one.
There used to be, they put Rachel's bench there.
Okay, so that's not there. I was gonna say.
Where did that
something
where did that rack go? That's one of those old school racks?
It was low to the
Just one
ground,
of the-
that had,
yeah. One of the old-fashioned type, yeah.
Well, I just want to think about that. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll bounce that off of people who have expressed interest.
Now,
Abby has offered a corner off of her at Powers, off the north, where the newspaper machine is, on the north side of the porch entrance of Powers. There's a grass area there.
how about on this property?
Or this property. I mean, I actually think we need more than one. Right?
Sure.
We need to be encouraging, but this is the one we got to start with. It was free.
Now, I'm sure there's places we can get these that the state will give you the bike racks if you're willing to install them.
There could be. That's what happened through the AOT with these racks that were, at one point, I guess, commissioned to Bennington or something.
Right.
And, they had just done some new installations, and this was one they had left over or something.
Because we could use 3 or 4.
Easy.
There should be one down in McWaters Park.
All right, if somebody wanted to even bike to go fishing there and wanted to be able to lock
Yeah.
their bike up and then walk the river down or something, all right, well, let's think of this as maybe we want to proceed with actually
He-
seeking out three or four other
Yeah,
ones.
and BCRC may know where we can get some more.
Okay. Yep, I'll talk to him. Just want to put that out there. It's here, we can spend some time thinking about it, and then, any other new business? Any old business?
I have a couple. So last meeting, I mentioned the property down on Water Street that had the fire and the willingness of the owners to donate it, and our apprehension about what condition the property would be in. He's looking into a few different things, but one of them, which I told him I would bring back to the board, is if it were a completely clean lot, like he'll take it down, his expense, clean lot to our specifications, whether we would be interested in him donating. So it would be basically torn the house down, he's gonna clean it all up. And, I mean, obviously, we would enter into a contract where it would have to be to certain specifications. At that point, he would consider donating it to the village as well, which would eliminate the wonder game of what it would look like if he just gave it to us as it stands. So he's looking into that. He's also looking, because of the size of the lot, he's got to figure out if it makes sense to try to build a new home there to sell. Obviously, it's a tiny footprint. I don't know if he would even be able to build on it if he tears that down. So he's kind of stuck with that. But that was one of the suggestion, or one of his suggestions was if he agreed to clear the lot, empty, even to the point where, I guess we could say to the point where it was seeded, he would still be willing as long as it were economically feasible for him. And he would do all the legwork and look into it.
He would still get a write-off for that, and we'd
Sure,
end up
we would
with
have
some
it
open
appraised,
park
it would be a-
space or whatever, but I still think the very first best fit is finding out if he can build on it.
Yeah, ideally that would be
I
great,
mean,
because obviously we would love to see the house on the tax roll, but again, if it's not, as nobody would, if it's not economically feasible.
Right, and it may not, I mean, currently the setback would have to be different, it can't be hanging right over the state highway, and so if they did that, then suddenly he doesn't have any more, doesn't have
Right,
enough
you don't have enough
space.
space.
and-
Maybe helpful if we have to do a major road project there.
And
Well-
again, I don't know what the restrictions are on the build there either. I mean, we could technically put up something that we wouldn't want, but he could be well within his rights to do so, so.
That's a possibility too, I don't know if that fits into the historic district or not, if it stops.
I don't
just-
think it does.
What's really needed there's a parking lot.
Well, it's true.
Yeah. Which,
Except it's all vertical, that's just the ledge that we're talking about,
Right.
that the wall,
but, I mean, if you take that, you at least get 4 or 5 spots there.
First of all, we don't need another blade of grass. We got we need to develop some of these parks in residential housing.
Okay.
Second of all, is, they need parking down there, with that I would agree with you, but we don't need parking
No, we
down
don't.
there.
No.
The landlords around there need parking.
Well, that could also be that could be that if we had it as a parking lot, we could lease the land to property owners as parking.
And he could also do that.
Or he could do the
So
same.
he
He could, exactly, yeah.
And,
Anyway, I
you
just-
know.
yeah, it was,
You know, I would, you know, and again, I don't have a dog in this fight, but I would, if you wanted to rebuild a residence there and it being on the tax rolls, I think that's a smart plan. You know, even if it had to get a variance, because it was there. If he leaves one piece of the building standing, it's still there, and he's rebuilt the building. You know, that's up to him.
He's got some options there, yeah.
You know.
But he's looking into all that, and I just said I would mention that. And at
That,
least
that
leave him as
changes,
the
that
option.
changes the tenor of the discussion from my standpoint. I'm willing to listen to what possibly would come of this. I like Norm's point that really, the problem is that the current zoning, as those properties have been grandfathered, I guess, and, whenever they were allowed to subdivide, there was never enough parking required for them to do it. So from those landlords' standpoint, what incentive do they have?
Right. And
Other
actually,
than to maybe improve the value of the apartment by having a car, being able to park a car right outside instead of having to walk up to the,
and that would be the other thing, whether he donated it to us, if we had the right to then turn around and try to sell it to the adjacent owners.
well, which I wouldn't do. My point is that he should just do that first. But, you know, if he could get the owners to subdivide it, re-split it, suddenly everybody has a little bit of extra real estate there, then Norm doesn't have to mow it, you got a couple parking spots and problem solved, and the eyesore's gone and all that. But should that not work, I guess we could have that discussion.
Okay. Well, again, I think he's got a lot of conversations to have with
Yeah.
financial people before, but
Yep.
I will mention that is at least a possibility.
Okay. Anything else?
Just one more. So there was a little confusion with our wood chip company. I spoke to their representative and mentioned that it was timely because we wanted to get it in before the end of the fiscal year. And I said, we don't need it delivered, we just want to order and pay and get it into the prior. So there was miscommunication between the urgency, and they ended up delivering it when I was on vacation, so there it sits. So I will, for those who are wondering how long it's going to sit there, I had a wheelbarrow and shovel out there the other day, and that's going to take all summer, so.
Can you get,
I'm gonna make some calls, and I'll talk to the Lions Club, they're always more than willing to help out. But it will be dealt with, hopefully within the week, to get together a work party. And
is it more material than you need?
I don't believe so, but it's certainly enough. If it's needed elsewhere, we could probably,
Just if there's anything extra, you
I don't know
know,
if there's,
could
I don't know
mulch
if you
some
need wood
trees
chips
with
anywhere,
it
but
or
it looks like
something.
it's more than plenty.
We don't
Yep,
need
so we can use it all right there.
any of that.
Because I think when we put it in anyway, we left plenty of room to have a thicker bed. You can't have too much, the stuff
No,
gets packed
exactly.
down quick, so. But it will be dealt with hopefully within the week.
Who did you buy that from?
Um,
Is it outfit out of
Pet
Troy?
Nelly, no, it's out of, I think it was shipped out of Troy, but the company that we worked with is it's Pet Nelly Associates, out of Burlington.
Okay.
But it came from New York, I believe, which is probably a company they ordered.
Donovan.
It's not, it's off
Yeah.
of Pet Nelly, so.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they didn't dump it.
A little closer.
Well, you know what, I had asked him to dump it in behind this way, but in looking at the size of the load, I don't think he could have put his truck.
Right there, that little snail thing. I mean, it would.
Oh, on this side of the lot.
Put that right there.
I think he might not have wanted to put it, because I talked to him, he called me at 7 o'clock in the morning, say, okay, I'm almost there. I said, no, you're not.
It said yes,
And then
I
I
am.
realized the driver, he had nothing to do with it, so I wasn't gonna refuse the delivery, but, I think he probably realized it wasn't gonna be dealt with right away, and I don't think he wanted to probably impact the playground equipment, but you're right. Ideally, I wanted to dump it on the other side of the swings, because then we could just push it, and,
You're right, it would have made your life a lot easier.
yeah.
Do you have anything in your parks budget where you would, if you get into a situation,
It's
you
an
can
all
just
it's a whole new year.
hire somebody to just help?
I will hire somebody for that. I mean, I can get
You
my
get
soccer
volunteers.
team to come with wheelbarrows and shovels if I have to. I'm not gonna pay somebody to do that. But I think we should be fine. The Lions Club is
Uncle
usually,
Lauren might show up with the next
I
excavator.
think
and
he's
do
got
a-
enough on
Do a
his
little
plate.
push here and there.
He can give me the keys to it and I can play with it.
There you go.
No, I think we can probably take care of it on a volunteer basis. But yeah, if need be, I can, it's a new year, so it's a new budget.
Good. Anything else?
Yep.
We have a few items in executive. I will entertain a motion to go into executive.
I will make that motion.
And the reason being?
Personnel.
Personnel, okay.
Did I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night.